Hello and welcome. You're listening to another episode of the Evolvepreneur Secret Show for entrepreneurs. I'm your host, Brian Silverthorne, and it's my mission to help entrepreneurs make a difference and to navigate the often messy worlds of startup and growth or relaunch. And today we're going to dig deep with our guest and get you some great concepts and strategies to fast track your business. And our special guest today is Amanda Guerassio, and she's a brand strategist and designer, and she helps you with your business clarify what you want your brand to be. So welcome to the show, Amanda.
Thank you for having me, Brian. I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, I'm happy to have you here. So where are you hanging out today?
I am down in Austin, Texas.
Oh, okay. Nice. That Austin's one of those cities that's really come into its own in the, well, I guess probably maybe 20 years, but food and music and industry and all of that stuff. Huh?
Yeah, you just named the big three: food, music, and tech. That's kind
Yeah.
of the heart of Austin right there.
Yeah, that's good. That's a nice part of the country too.
Mhm.
What inspired you to get into this business?
Oh, okay. Well, I have been interested in like creativity, art, that kind of thing since as long as I can remember. Like even when I was back as a kid, I was like creating and illustrating my own books, like drawing things, coloring things, whatever. And then computers kind of became big while I was in like middle school and high school. And so I got introduced to how you could use computers for art, in other words, graphic design. And that just kind of blew my world open. I was like, this is really cool. So when it came time to go to college, that's what I got my degree in. I got my degree in graphic design. And that's what I've been doing ever since. So I'm one of those rare people that is actually, using their degree and working in the field that they studied in. So
Yeah, that at least in my experience, that is a little bit rare, unless you go to medical school or
yeah.
you're an attorney or something. But
Yeah.
so when you got started on your own here, what was your biggest challenge?
Oh, my biggest challenge was that I had zero plan. Like I kind of fell into freelancing and entrepreneurship. I didn't ever intend to do that. Like that was never the long-term plan. But I kind of dipped my toe in the freelancing world and liked it. And I was like, I'm just going to do this. But I had, like I said, my degree was in design. So I had zero business structure training. Like didn't know anything of the business side, the legal side, the financial side, the marketing side, like none of that. So it was definitely a learning curve, having to learn all that as I went, without any savings cushion built up as well. So I don't necessarily recommend that route, but that's how I got into it.
So the well, you get a lot of entrepreneurs here go through well, I'm good at this, but then all of a sudden the business world whacks them, and they got to fight their
Yes.
way through that. And like you said, uh, a lot of us, me included, when I started, I didn't have the money to seek out an attorney or an accountant or anything else to help with that
Hmm.
stuff. So you just got to figure it out as you're going.
Yeah. It's
So,
one of
but
those
that's a
things like you get into it because you love doing the one thing, and in my case, design. But like running a design business takes a lot of other skill sets, and I didn't even like really stop and think about that before I just jumped in. So
Sure, but if you're doing something that you like, you're going to take the time to learn what you need to do to get doing it, and that's a good exercise. It's good
yeah,
for you.
absolutely.
So what's your current focus at the moment?
My current focus is on branding. That's what I specialize in now. So when I first started out, 16 plus years ago, I was kind of a generalist. I would design anything anybody would pay me to design, basically. And over the years, I really honed what I like to do, what I'm really good at, and what has the biggest impact for my clients, and that is branding. And so these days, I approach it not just from the design side of things, but also the strategy side. So, like you said in my intro, I help people figure out, what they even want their brand to be first, and then we bring that to life in their design materials. So it's kind of a two-step process, but that strategy is so key because knowing what you're trying to achieve with your brand helps you not just with the design pieces, but with your marketing, with your messaging, with your copy, with like all your other efforts. So that I feel that's a really powerful first step.
Yeah, absolutely. You got to know who you are or what you are before you can get it out there in the right way.
Yes, exactly.
So you've been at it 16 years. You got any vision for your business, say 3 years from now, and a plan for getting there?
Um, Gosh, I mean, this is probably going to sound boring, but mostly just, revenue growth. Like I don't have ambitions to, build an agency or build out like a team of designers under me or something. I definitely want to stay doing the design work and not just like managing people doing the design work. Um, so it'll be more about bringing in help in other areas, like maybe, somebody to handle my social media for me, or somebody to do PR or stuff like that, less so than having like full-time employees.
Yeah, I understand that. If you know,
Yeah.
it's a good idea to stick with what you're good at and then find other people to fill in the blanks that think,
Yes, exactly.
so let you do the fun stuff for you.
Mhm.
Um, so um, do you have, well, you mentioned revenue growth, that we all want that.
Yeah.
So so if you achieve some significant revenue growth, what kind of a difference would that make for you in your business?
Whew. Gosh, it would just be a relief, I guess. It's one of those things, like even, this many years in business, there's still a little bit up and down month to month, and that can be stressful.
Mhm.
Um, and it would just, even if I still had that up and down, if it was at a higher level, it'd be less stressful, I think. So it would just be, there would be a little more ease in my business. I would be able to hire some of those part-time helpers and things like that. Yeah, that would be the main difference, I think.
Yeah, I understand that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, a lot of people that are solopreneurs and like doing what they do, and if it's nice when you can get to a point where you can get other people to bring you business,
Yes, that
so
too.
you don't have to worry about that.
Mhm.
But what's the way that people find you now? What's the most effective method that you're using?
Yeah, well, these days it's actually referrals. So referrals from past clients or from people in my network. So that's awesome. There's some good word of mouth going out there. Once in a great while, I'll get somebody that'll randomly, reach out on, LinkedIn or find my website somehow, but it's mostly through referrals, which is nice.
Yeah, yeah, it is. It's a lot, and the people that come to you through referrals are usually much more open and easier to convert to clients, so
Yes.
because they've already got a recommendation from somebody.
Yeah. The downside to it is I don't have any control over that frequency of like when referrals are coming to me, because it's, somebody else is sending them to me. So I'm trying to up my marketing game as far as like LinkedIn and my email newsletter and public speaking appearances like this and things like that, just to try to amplify that, I guess.
Sure. So who is your, if you have one, who is your ideal client at the
Yes.
moment?
So I am focusing right now on, I call them serial entrepreneurs. So they are not absolutely new to business. They're either revamping a business they've had for a couple of years, or they're starting an additional business. They are freedom seekers and strivers. They're, working to live, not living to work. So they're all about, adventure, exploration, that kind of thing. Like um, using their business to build the life of their dreams, essentially. So
Okay.
that is
Yeah,
my person.
it seems like the younger group in the world today are more experience oriented than in the past, which is good. I'm not, I don't put myself in the younger group, but I like to have good experiences along the way too. So I
Yeah.
understand that. So you mentioned a little bit about how these people would find you.
hmm
Right now, it's referrals, but also social media. Is there one that's working better for you than another?
That's an ongoing experiment. I'm right now. I am focusing on LinkedIn to see how that does for me. I had previously been focused on Instagram because that seemed like a natural fit. I'm a designer. That's a visual, platform. But I found with Instagram that I was attracting fellow designers more than potential
Oh,
clients. So that's part of why I switched my focus to LinkedIn. And so that's been, I want to say 3 or so months now that I've been focused on LinkedIn. So I'm still kind of filling that out, seeing how it goes.
yeah, yeah. There's supposed experts on how to make the most of that too. So I don't
I'm
know how
expert
to.
on everything these days.
Oh, sure, absolutely. The, the best one is whatever works for you is the way that you should do it.
Hmm.
So we're getting kind of toward the end here. Do you have any
Okay.
final thoughts for budding entrepreneurs out there, either as it relates to the use of what you do or dealing with the whole entrepreneurship adventure?
Yeah, I'll give you two answers here, one for each of those. For the entrepreneurship side, definitely the sooner you can get your legal and financial ducks in a row with your new business, the better, because that will come back and bite you eventually if you don't. So blanket advice there. And as far as branding, I know especially people first starting out, they don't necessarily have the budget to hire someone to help with that, or they're still too new to it that they don't even know what really they want to make it yet. So I'd say once you get at least like 2 years in or so, get your feet wet, have a sit down, really think about what am I intentionally trying to build with this brand. Go through all the branding questions you see floating out there, like who's my ideal client, like how am I unique, all those kinds of things. What are my brand values? Because if you actually take the time to lay that out, to be clear about it, that can help focus your efforts in like all across your business. And so that'll just kind of put you a step ahead of everybody else that's not doing that. So that would be my advice on that.
Excellent. No, that's great advice. I'm gonna use that as the dramatic conclusion to this episode. So. So
Okay.
that's a wrap on another great guest episode of the Evolvepreneur Secret Show for entrepreneurs. And just before you leave, if you liked it, please give us a 5-star review and maybe share it with a few friends. And if you want to make sure you can catch up on past episodes or get notified for new ones, go to evolvepreneursecrets.show. And if you're an entrepreneur, you got a great idea in your head, let's get it out into the world today. Thanks for listening.